Okay, I think we are live now.
All right.
So you can check your page whether it's going live.
Yep. Seems to be it.
Okay. So hello everyone. Good evening. Good evening.
Hi.
Yeah, just warming up. So we will be starting our talk show 8 p.m. sharp. So while we are waiting for the time, we can share and invite your friends to the talk show, to the session. Hi Aurora. Hi Lady. Okay.
I see.
Okay, so how it works is we also can get the audience on Facebook Live to ask questions.
Yep.
And so we can have interaction with them.
Okay.
Yeah, so try to encourage them to ask questions.
Great. That's great. Yeah.
Yeah.
So where do we see myself here? Okay.
You'll get used to it.
Oh, hi Teresa. I hope my battery can last.
Yeah, you let me know in case you want to like rush it out, rush for the last percentage, then we can go for it.
Okay. But I think we're good. I think we came prepared and all.
Okay, that's good. That's good. Okay, I think we can start the session. We are 8 p.m. sharp.
Great.
So welcome everyone to our Monday Orange Talk Show. So as usual, I'm Kim, the host for the talk show. So I'm the founder of Go Doodle, which is an online art education platform for anyone who want to learn about creativity and arts. So feel free to drop by our page to check our courses, our art pieces, and also all the talk show series that we have done. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask in this session or even message us, okay? So today, we are very glad to and honored to invite Mr. Ryan from Art Herald to be here and to share with us about his experience in art curation and also working on art magazines. So I think he has a lot to share for today. So do grab your opportunity to ask him some questions that you want to like know more about, especially like how to get on the magazines. So let's get started then. So Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, okay, yeah. So Ryan Mario here. I am from Singapore and I run Art Herald as a managing editor. So for us, we are very focused in the art industry. We are kind of like a journalism group that covers art events that are happening around the world. So our main clients are like, Singapore, Dubai, Mauritius. And our stories stretch all the way to South Africa as well. And so if you go onto our website, triggerhub.com, you will see that we have writers from all around the world. We have four writers from Singapore. We have got two from Mauritius, one from South Africa, one from Vietnam. Yep. So we kind of have a very nice eclectic mix of people within the art industry or those who are, with other career choices, but are still kept in touch with the artistic side. So what we're trying to do here is to offer a platform for these people to raise their voices, for more people to hear them, and at the same time also provide a platform for artists, for creatives to showcase their works.
Mm-hmm. So, because I think it's very important for artists to get heard, to get seen, because if they just hide in somewhere and then continuously do their things but doesn't get noticed, it's a waste then.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
So
like,
just yeah.
go on.
You want to say something?
No, so yeah, we felt that the easiest medium to actually connect people from the industry with people outside the industry is probably like words, because it gets the point across, it gets the message across most of the time, especially when art is a very visual medium. Um, these visual translations may actually get lost sometimes. So we use words to bridge the gap. So even laymen will be able to understand what the artists, what the creators are doing.
Okay. So just to put this aside first, and we would like to know more about your how do you get into this art heralding, or how do you get started? Since when you get started? So give us some history.
Art Herald didn't come about immediately, because initially most of my positions that I hold were in education. So I was mainly teaching languages or art. And then that's gradually when I realized that, hey, there is the the populace actually has an appetite for this sort of readings. They are curious about it, and therefore we thought, hey, since I teach and at the same time I write, why don't I infuse these two elements together, and then thought of doing art journalism. So that's where Art Herald came about. So prior to that, yeah, it was under the company of Hearth, and that brand is more towards education. So Art Herald became kind of like a subcategory under Hearth that brings the news of art to the masses.
So you started Hearth first as an educational platform.
Yes.
Then you have this Art Herald as your journalism arm.
Yeah.
I see. So before that, you are always in the educational field, or you are in somewhere else?
Mostly educational, actually.
Yeah. Mostly educational. I see. So just to understand, how do you start Hearth? Is it like your first business or your first career?
No. So prior to that, I had several stints in art studios, or at the same time I was also teaching. I was giving private tuitions. Because you're in the art industry, you put food on the table. So I was doing quite a few jobs, but mainly they're all focused in education. So Hearth came about because I was initially from an art college, and during that period as a student, I have always had difficulty finding representations, finding opportunities out there, because it's so difficult as a student to get your name out there. Okay. Most of the time, if you were to see the big names in the industry, it's probably like all the industry heavyweights, like those big artist names, or if not those well-known media establishments. So I was struggling a lot to find a footing, and that was when, after graduation, I just thought like, hey, instead of finding one, since that was already a problem to begin with, why don't I create this platform, not only for myself but also for the future generations, and the future, my juniors who also seek this same platform. So our platform actually caters not only to the artists, it also caters to the job seekers, the writers who want their voices to be heard as well.
I see, I see. So it's not only like you are providing services to others, but you also provide opportunities
Yes.
to get them on board as service provider as well.
Correct. Yes.
I see. So that's pretty like somehow like GoDoodle, right? Because GoDoodle is also a platform whereby artists can join us and they can use their skills and teach the public about arts. So here we can learn about doodling, sketching, watercolors, everything. As long as it's like visual arts, as long as we can learn visually, then I think it's okay.
Which is great actually, right? Because like all along when we talk about education, we talk about we talk about studies. It's mainly more towards academic subjects, like your English, math, science, things like that. But I think in recent years there has been more shift towards the need for education for the arts. So
True.
more parents are willing to actually pay for these sort of services. It has become a demand.
Because I really can see the switch of a preference in arts, but then in Malaysia still it takes some time to be honest. But I would say I'm quite optimistic about it. So wondering how is Singapore doing in this kind?
I think Singapore, it still has quite a way to go because right now most people still do not see they don't see art as a commodity. They see art as something of a kind of like a status product, right? So
or leisure status.
yeah, it's not something that it's a need for everyday life. So whereas for the education side, I think more people are open to having the arts as an education option, and you see like more art institutes, they are getting more enrollments in recent years in comparison, like say maybe 10 years ago, because like the new generation of people, we see the value in art, whereas like maybe our parents' generation, they don't really see that art is something that is useful. Yeah.
I see. So wondering how's your parent view on what you are doing now? Very supportive, or there's some obstacles, challenges?
There has always been obstacles. There has always been challenges. Of course, coming from this side of the world where we are all Asians, we can't dishonor our family and all. So parents are not really that supportive initially. Yeah, but which is why like you have to struggle through and kind of make a point that hey, whatever you're doing with the arts, it turns out to be rather useful for yourself, rather useful for your life, your employment and stuff like that. So I guess they got a little more. I think it was an eye opener for them. Like they actually start to realize that hey, if I go for an art education, it doesn't mean that it's a one-way ticket to being an artist. No, there are many other options available, and you can actually carve a career out of it.
Yeah, true. Because usually our own perspective is that once you study about arts, then the only way you can like succeed is only to become artist.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Then we don't really see the spectrum of it. But when we are really going into it, then we see there's like education side, the creation side, the gallery, those kind of like art galleries is a whole new thing. And even like commercial arts, which is very big in the industry.
Yeah, but I think the funny thing is, like the other option that if most people who came out from art studies, most of them would think that, okay, if I don't go down the artist route, probably the only other option that I could go for is being a teacher. And therefore, you see that most graduates, they are always usually being teachers. Yeah. Well, an example here is I dare say that this is not true because it depends on what your strengths are. Uh, People who enter art school will think that their strengths will should only be within your technical skills, which are like your drawings or painting and sculpting. I would always say to explore further, break out of the old mold, come and try other aspects. Like you could probably go for curation. You could probably see if you have a skill for you could probably have a skill for writing or for certain other positions in the art field. It's not just teaching only, it's not just being an artist, there's so many others.
Yeah, I can say there's a lot of application on arts in different businesses as well. So even like I would say like movie education, as in like academic education. Even now, like kids education is also a big thing whereby they need a lot of visuals arts to like support the education process. So I think there's a lot of integration that can be done. But then what we need is to open their eyes on the possibilities. So yeah, so maybe that's where we can stand on, where we can like let them know about the possibilities that what they can do with their skills, the hard skills. But then with the soft skills, perhaps they can go even further. Because I'm also not sure on, are you from art college, right?
Yes.
So can you like tell us a bit more about what do you actually learn in the college, or how is the education is?
I'd say that the start of art school is actually pretty decent because they get you to do everything. Like even if you are a sculptor, say for example, you want to go into graphic design, you want to do designing, okay, but the school goes, no, just because you're doing design doesn't mean you should stay within that field. Therefore, in the first year, they throw you to do every single thing. If you're doing design, you're going to do painting as well. You're going to do sculpting. You're going to do lots of writings as well. Even if you are going to go in as a photographer or go in as a videographer, you still need to have the staple of having basic technical skills nailed down, which means as a photographer, you will still know how to paint. As a videographer, you will still know how to draw. As a graphic designer, you will still know how to sculpt.
Okay.
What wraps everything nicely is that whichever module you take, there always has to be writing. So it focuses, it kind of gives you that focus that, you know, you're not just limited to what you're good at.
So at least the schools requires you to try it on different things in order to like you have the hands-on experience of different methods to express your creativity.
Yes.
I see. So I think that's good in a way, but then when people get comfortable with their own like, expertise, if they are really keen on doing sculptures and then they move on into professionals, then they will stay on, right?
Yeah, so that's what happens.
So somehow they will start, right?
Yes, after the first year, when you go through foundation, that's when you will move into your specialties and you undergo like several years of training for that. So that you can be kind of a master of your craft, but at the same time, you still have the foundational understanding of whatever else that is happening in the art world. So it's not you're not just kept within your own confinements of your own comfort zone. You are forced to step out of it, and therefore you are able to expand your creativity in that sense.
So throughout the study, throughout the academic study, do you all go for like any internship or any like practice
Yes,
in the industry?
yes.
How is it like?
Well, it kind of depends on where you go because like for me I was kind of an assistant for another artist, so at the same time I also get but my focus since school was actually on writing, so which means
Okay.
yeah, which is why hey, at Herald. But because of writing, I was able to assist artists to develop their portfolio, or if not for the exhibition themes and things like that. So gradually, that kind of moved me on towards more knowledge acquisition in curation. Yeah. So gradually,
Oh,
I started to develop a liking towards curation, and um, used to have several exhibitions going on in that area.
okay. So talking about like writing parts of art curation. So because myself, I think being able to write, you need to know like a lot of like technical terms, the history, everything, in order to like really describe the art piece really good. So from your perspective or from your like experience, how hard is it, and how do you overcome this the whole process of writing it out?
Well, you are right in saying that you need to have knowledge in certain aspects, but it's not only just um, the technical terms and all. In fact, I try to avoid, or even if I have to use technical terms or artistic jargons, um, there always has to be a certain explanation as to what these jargons mean, even if you are writing for, say, the art industry. Because you need to understand also that not everyone has gone through art education. Most artists
True.
are self-taught, and therefore they are also one of those handful that are confined within their own understanding of what art is. So for us in Art Herald, we focus a lot on bridging the gap of understanding. So if
Mm-hmm.
people in the art industry were to speak in certain way or use certain technical terms, the layperson will not be able to understand.
True.
Yeah, these are jargons. These are very specific to certain industry. Uh, what we do is we try to simplify it. We try to break down these boundaries that most people understand it as, oh, art is a very difficult thing to understand because there are so many jargons, there are so many technical terms, and you need a certain specific skill, or you need to be in the know before you can understand art. For us, we always show that that's not true. We explain it, and we try to explain it in a simpler way so that it's more understandable for everyone.
So do you have like any like tips or any tricks to let people know easier to understand a piece of art? Any easier ways?
Hmm. Okay, this is a fun one.
Ah.
Okay, so here's one thing. Whenever you enter a museum or a gallery, what usually is lacking, which is actually really my pet peeve, is that you do not get an explanation of the artwork. You walk into the gallery, you walk into the museum, and you see all these art pieces. You see one that really catches your eye, it catches attention, you like it. But when you go up to it, you try to understand, you try to see what is it, you don't get any explanation, and most of the time, even like it, if you
It only
want,
has
you
name,
ask.
artist
Yeah,
name. Yeah,
yeah, you
yeah.
can
You need to
actually ask.
ask.
But I think most people won't, so they're just like, oh, I like this, but I don't know what is it, and therefore I'm just going to move on. I think that's the main problem, and I always feel that there should always be wall text explaining what an artwork is. But here's the fun thing about it: even if there isn't, always look at an artwork and look for one that you like. Study it and understand a few things. The medium, why it was made like this, when was it made, and it is in a probable response to what. So it's kind of like asking yourself the question words, the who, what, when, where, how, why, and which. Yeah. So take it as a puzzle. You see an artwork, you don't really understand it. You try to infer what that artwork is trying to tell you about. Oh, like if it's a sculpture and that is made using, say, metal, and you start to question, okay, so why did the artist use metal as his medium? Why? What kind of connotation does it have? What type of feeling does it invoke within you? I think these are things that really draws out the human nature a lot. It helps people understand more about themselves, or helps people understand uh, people in general. And that's the beauty of art. That's actually the power of art. So whenever you visit a museum, just try it. Try to understand the work and see what special connotations it carries. You'll be surprised.
Yeah. So the main keyword is to be curious,
Yes.
not just to like screen through. Oh, okay.
Yeah, right.
I'm here. Check in. I'm here. That's it. Then it will be very wasteful, I would say.
I mean, after you pay, some people, when we pay to go into museums, make the best of it.
True. Because I think we really need like even yourself, you are being there, and maybe you are totally like not familiar with arts, but I don't know why maybe your friend just pull you on with into the trip to art gallery or something. So you try to understand the arts. So I would say I do visited some of the art galleries in Malaysia as well. Also the art expo. So I see some pretty interesting modern arts with like very striking colors and very how to say unique kind of presentation. So all of this really like make me curious why they are doing this, and also why they are using these kind of colors and what are they conveying. So usually I can like ask the artists themselves, which is standing at the side. But
Right,
usually
yeah.
a gallery doesn't have that artist around.
That's the thing. So that's well, one thing I've kind of learned throughout my years in the art sector is that most artworks respond to a few genres. Five specifically. Is either political, historical, cultural, religious, or emotional. So most of the time, if it's emotional, it's a reflection of the artist themselves. But whereas if you go for like things like historical, political, it usually responds to the situation, or rather the places where the artists have been. So for example, if it could have been artwork that kind of relates to historical things like, say, the Vietnam War, or World War II in general, or certain struggles or strikes that the artists or the country where the artists belong to have gone through. And then cultural wise, it's quite a wide spectrum. So you kind of have to see through many layers of cultural connotations, or maybe sometimes you really have to be in the know and have to understand certain culture before you understand that, oh, that art piece is a reflection of that culture. Whereas it's the same for religious connotations as well. So these are a few frameworks that you can work with. Try to see whether an artwork relates to any of these genres. Best is if there's a wall text, read it. If not, look at the title. It may even tell you something as well.
I see. So really, we need to read up, and we have Google anyway.
Yeah,
So it's pretty easy, right?
Google
I
the art.
think Google also have this, what is it called? Google Culture, is it? It has a collection of a lot of art pieces, if not mistaken. I think I have the app with me. I don't know, is it here? Now maybe I can share it on later on. There's a lot of collection, but I didn't have the time to like look into it. So so talking about like if a person would like to like start to learn about arts. Maybe for example, in Go Doodle, there's a lot of parents who like their kids to experience art. So for me, I usually will tell the parents to not only their kids to be educated, but also the parents as well. Because the parents will need to understand what their kids is drawing, and also to like help them and to even draw together with them. That will be better.
Yeah,
so for parents, do you have like any reference, or do you have like any classic reference for them to like start, so that they know like what's the best in the world and what can they refer to?
Well, one thing about parents is most of them who send their kids for art classes, they have this deep-seated idea that I'm sending my kid for art classes so that they can paint or draw better. And these are the parents that are mostly very result driven. I
True.
don't know about your side in Malaysia, but I'm very certain that in Singapore that is always the case because we are known to be kiasu.
Yes, exactly. I think we are the same. No
So
difference at all.
our parents, they always want to see a result. They always want to see that, oh, after X number of lessons that my kid has undergone these trainings with you, I should be able to see that he has a major improvement and he can paint really, really well now. But most of the time, that's not the case because it really depends on the individual. And it also depends on how much, where these creative expressions are targeted towards. Like, you know, most kids, they need certain amount of time to go through to reach a certain level. Some kids they prefer the idea of being more expressive, which means you don't get you don't get like proper figures, you don't get proper drawings, but you get really expressive lines and colors. I think that as educators, we need to inform the parents that these are the things that they should be looking out for. They shouldn't be looking out at the final product, but rather they should be looking out at for the process that the kid has gone through. That initially maybe the kid is not that expressive, but through the classes, you realize that their strokes and colors have gotten even more vibrant. I think that it's already quite a huge step forward for the kid as well. So the education on the parents should mostly be the fact that their kids are improving in their own ways and not in the way that you should perceive it to be.
It's not like when they draw really good, as in you can really see the shape, you can really see, or it really reflects, or it's drawing a bird or something, a tree. It doesn't mean like that. But I also see that in terms of confidence, because especially in adult students, where I see a very similar personality, or I would say a characteristic, whereby they are afraid of even doing a stroke, and they want to be right. That's the thing, and we try to like persuade them, or they try to let them understand that there's no right and wrong in drawings, and you can be free, but then they are really like constrained on something that they perceive to be like right. They have to do it like that. Only it is correct. If not, then it's you're gonna done for.
I think for this is mainly it's a very societal thing because like for adults, when we come up to work, we are always worried about so many things. Our mind is in constant flux. It just comes in with worry after worry, and gradually we just start to think that, oh, we can't make mistakes in any aspects of our life. So especially when if you are an adult and you want to start learning art, that kind of mindset would be applied to your studies as well. Because you'll be thinking, oh, every stroke that I make, every line that I create, every image that I draw should be up to perfection. If not, I am not doing myself a favor. If not, I'm not letting myself down. I mean, if not, I am letting myself down. I think that is a mindset that we should use art to kind of correct, because it's supposed to be a liberating experience. It's not supposed to be any another one of your jobs or another one of your life expectations. It should just be the case that you want to do it, you just jolly well go and do it.
So no stress at all, no pressure. So just do it and enjoy the process. So do you have any experience in terms of like facing individuals who want to pursue arts but they don't know how, or they are like confused or lost on the direction, and they ask you for some advice? Do you have any encounters as such?
Quite a few, because but honestly, I'm not like the best person to go to, because yeah, my education I focus on my writings, so it's not more towards technical skill. But using that example, I can say that I think what everyone needs to do is to identify their own niche, which means to find what they are personally good at, and then expand on in that area, expand on their niche. So for anyone who wants to go into to do a new thing, be it for art, be it for any other aspect in life, find what you're good at. Find what only you can bring to the table. If you it takes a while. It does take a while. It's like most artists, they need time to find their own style as well. For many artists, it takes several years, maybe even decades, to actually find a style that they are very comfortable with and settle for it. By style, we mean that kind of like their signature, where out of 100 artworks, we are able to point out one and say, hey, this is X artist's work. So finding your signature in the art world is also very important. Be it for doing art, or be it for whatever you're pursuing in the creative sector. So probably that's the first step that you may want to start out with, is to identify or figure out what you do best in. And then the next step is to really kind of like nurture it.
But how do they know whether it is the thing that they do best? Is it kind of like they feel rewarding, or is it really in terms of like they get fame, or they get like money return?
It depends on what someone feels that it is what sparks them joy, basically. Yeah. What they feel that it is comfortable for them to do, and that they enjoy doing, and they can continue to do all the way. Of course, the bonus is if you can make money out of it, because after all, that's where we are looking, what we're looking for in the business world, in coming out into employment. But
to be sustainable.
Yeah, to be sustainable, we need to put on the table all the time. Yes.
Yeah,
so I mean, if you are really adventurous, what I'd say is to and you really want to be in the art sector, what you want to do is probably find something that sustains you, but at the same time keep the dream alive, and to pursue it alongside what your own career, so that when the time comes when you identify what you really do best in, you can slowly shift your career towards that area. And then what I always say is that we will never retire, even though even though
keep
old,
dancing to the work.
Yeah, because that will become a part of us. You will know that you have identified what you're good at and what you love doing when you know it becomes a part of you, and you will never want to retire from it.
Because that's part of life.
Yes.
No more like work-life balance. No procrastination.
Your essence in general.
Yeah. Okay. So I would say you are like in the middle of way towards that direction, right? So Art Hero will be your kind of like no retire thing to
I
do.
hope. I hope. I
I
mean,
never know, right?
yes.
Still too early to say.
Yeah, it is.
I
Yeah,
see.
yeah, we've been around for about two on the way to the third year. So yeah,
So yeah,
we've got a long way.
congratulations. First. Long way to go still.
Yeah.
All right. Talk back about Art Hero. So in this 2 years plus, what kind of experience you face is like the hardest part so far that you faced to like go through or challenge your thinking whether you want to continue Art Hero or not?
Finances.
Uh,
This is always the case. Um,
I see.
we started at Harrow as kind of like a passion platform because
Mm.
we we want to be able to do what we do best, and that is to write and that is to bring stories to people. But the problem with that is when we first started, no one knows about us. We didn't have the right connections,
Mm.
and therefore most of the time it always entails us doing many free jobs.
Okay. Okay.
So and because of that, finances always becomes a problem whereby okay, we are building a brand, we are building our name, but how are we going to put food on the table? So the issue with starting a new venture is you always need to be able to get connected. I think out of every every aspect in the business, I think connection is the most important, and your network. With more network comes more opportunity, and with more opportunity comes more you know business.
True.
So yeah, that's the
More opportunity to put food on your table.
yeah that's the problem initially, yeah. And then now we still have problems. We always have problems. I think the problem now is because of the pandemic, things have slowed down quite a bit. So we have been trying to find more stories to cover with the shutting down of many events, many exhibitions. We always need more stories, more things to kind of revitalize our brand, our pages, and our magazine. But I guess things are falling into place slowly right now.
That's really good to hear. So just out of curious, what kind of stories are you looking for, or do you have any genres that you are focusing in, or any categories that you are focusing in?
Mm, for now, I think we want to be the voices for the artists
Mm.
because many artists are, as much as they can produce visual elements really easily, they can paint, they can sculpt, but the conveying of their ideas, it becomes a problem for them. They can produce something that they understand themselves. So I think for us, what we're looking for are these people who require an extra voice to reach out to their audiences better. Think of it like marketing.
Okay. So from your experience, any artists who had like being on your published magazines, so do they do their artworks or do their names increase in terms of like exposure, and maybe it turns out that someone would like to like purchase their art pieces or something like that? Is there any situation like that?
Well, I dare say that they get a lot more viewership because we are both on online platform and in print as well. We have and what we try to do is to get our printed magazines into every gallery in the country. We also work very closely with Dubai, so Dubai, Mauritius, and South Africa. So the names that are mentioned within the magazine or the artworks that are shown within the magazine will actually reach these areas as well, which means we are on our way to being a global information hub.
Mm.
So there is definitely a reach to the far ends of the earth, but what we need to focus more on right now is on the local aspect, where we need more galleries to be able to be more aware of what we are doing. So at the same time, we also can cover their exhibitions, their events, so that more artists are aware of the existence of certain galleries and more people are aware that certain exhibitions are open to the public for public viewing.
Mm. Okay. So just curious about how do you choose like artists that's gonna be on your magazine? Do you choose or do you have any like criteria to meet?
Mm, I mean, we definitely need we need the artists in general. We need the artists to know what they are doing. We can't just say, "Oh, you paint well, therefore we take you in." I think
That's too
that
general, right?
yeah, it's too general because what I always feel that what sets artists aside from say um, craftsmen, okay, is that artists are in the know of their own abilities. They know where they're going to take their creative juices to. They know how they are going to make use of it, which means we are looking for artists who are certain of their own bodies of works. They are able to uh, understand like what they are doing. Yeah. So they because everyone can draw, everyone can paint, but not everyone is an artist.
Mm. So that brings me to a question. So what makes an artist an artist? So what makes them different
Well,
from like any other people who can draw?
well, for artists, I say that if you have a signature of your own,
Mm-hmm.
if you have a body of works that we can say that, hey, this theme, this body is a reflection of the artist. They have gone through a large amount of studies in why they are creating works of this nature. They understand themselves as artists, whereby their works are an extension of their very essence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And honestly, right now it may sound really vague, but if you were to compare the works of artists who have been artists for a long time, whereas in comparison to those who just basically draw or paint during a leisure time, you can see a vast difference in their approach to art. You can see that their style, their strokes, or the certain mediums that they use is consistent. There is a very specific consistency in the works produced by artists in comparison to those who are exploring. Um, I mean, yes, we are a platform, but we do advocate for a certain level experience before we take them in within our stories.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, understand about it. So we can also tell our audience that if someone who's around them who are really into arts or even an artist, local artist around you, so you can also recommend them to us so that we can actually reach out to them and to see whether we can help them out in terms of like covering them in some stories.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
right now I think we are also expanding towards the creating a very specific section that showcases well, budding artist is a very generic term, but we're looking at people who really want to take a brave step into the art industry and I think we want to dedicate a portion of the magazine to these people as well, which probably will look into it in in the near future.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So any future plans for the Art Herald magazine or any like exciting thing ahead
Well,
of time? Yeah.
I mean, we were just before the show, we were also talking about a certain collaboration and all, which we may
Mm-hmm.
want to explore as well, right? But
Yeah, true.
I think right now our main goal is to be able to connect the different art communities, the different art communities from different parts of the world, which means like so far we have a few countries patted down already, but there are so many more, and there are so many more people who are not aware of us and who are not aware of what we are doing. So
Mm-hmm.
our main goal right now is to reach out to these people to keep them posted about, hey, we provide a certain service. We are able to bring your stories out to a greater number of audience, and
Mm-hmm.
therefore, drop by our page and read the stories. I mean, after all, all the stories are available on our page, and you can read it as, hey, a bedtime story or something.
Mm. So mainly all your contents are on your website, right?
Yes, they are.
So it's on the triggerhalf.com.
Yes,
Yeah.
triggerhub.com. And we have the magazine section right there. So
Mm-hmm.
every single story that we covered so far, they are all up there, and especially the featured artists. I think that's the exciting part, because these are the artists who produce amazing works, but need a greater voice, need a louder voice for them to be heard by the general populace.
Okay. I mean, so far, do you like cover artists outside of Asia, or do you have like Dubai, South Africa artists as well?
Of course we do.
I
So
see.
yeah, because we have writers from quite a number of places as well. As I mentioned just now, we have a
Mm-hmm.
South African writer,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and we have two Mauritian writers as well. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we are, even though we are a Singapore company, we do find talents from other parts of the world as well. And these
Mm-hmm.
talents actually come and look for us at the same time.
That's great. So, do you have coverage in Chinese community as well?
Well, Chinese community, as in like Chinese art, or
Like Chinese art and also China, Taiwan, Hong Kong.
trying to reach there. So we do have sponsors for our magazine, and just nice, our sponsors are actually currently based in Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
So and it was quite a recent thing actually. So we are looking to work with maybe the Taiwanese art scene in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
Probably like after everything, well, the dust settles for the pandemic, and we could try to explore that. But if not, for now, we are all confined to our individual countries. Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure. So we only have Zoom to go for.
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. So when everything is done, everything is cool down, so we can visit each other.
Yes.
Yeah, very good. So to the audience, so you have any questions, do drop your questions at the comment box so that we can answer your questions. And we are also near to the end of the talk show. So again, thank you, Ryan, for taking your time to share your experience in Art Herald as a art curator.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So just to like talk a bit about our like future collaboration.
Mm-hmm.
So what's on my mind is to have something like a competition for local artists
Yes.
to share their own stories. So they can submit their own stories to us, and we can shortlist some of them to be on Art Herald and also go doodle on some programs.
Yeah.
So this will be an opportunity for the artist to get a louder voice, as like Ryan mentioned. So definitely it's good for the artist because for a person ability, one person ability, there's always a limitation, right? So you need others' help to boost your exposure and to let people know faster about your name. So that's a better way to do it.
Yeah, I think marketing is a very important thing that many artists lack. It's not just always about being able to produce something well. You need to get it out to the public. You need to get it out to everyone and make yourself noticed. So this is something that we can provide for you artists. And with our collaboration, I'm pretty sure that this will go really well for everyone.
Yeah, that's good thing to know. And also one last thing to add on, because I also encounter few artists who has a pretty good social media, I would say followers, like maybe 50K and even 100K of followers. So with that, would you consider them as like successful in terms of exposure, or how do you like judge in terms of this kind of followers on social media?
Hmm. Well, for social media, it's a very gray area, right? Because it's I mean, if you are genuine in your works and you are genuine in uh, on social media, your followers would you definitely have a fan base because
Yep.
I think at this juncture, many people, especially amidst all these problematic happenings in the world, many people do turn to art for comfort. And I think social media, or at least all these artists who have this high number of viewership, they are really doing everyone a great favor because
Mm-hmm.
uh, their postings, their whatever they have on the pages, it's already a form of comfort amidst this troubling times. So yeah, I would say keep doing it. Yeah, because
Mm-hmm.
whatever it is, many people need comfort, and you're providing it. As artists, you guys are providing it. I think that's a noble thing to do.
Mm. Yep. Just keep sharing about their own contents, and also keep it's a sort of entertainment as well, right? And also like sign of humanity.
It's encouraging as well, yeah,
Yeah.
because you get to spur people on to try like something new. It's like, hey, if this person can do this thing, why not? People always say that art is a talent. I don't think so. I think art is something that everyone works very hard for. Artists get to that level not because of pure talent. It's not because you come out into this world with a golden hand or something. Like no, these artists put in years of work, hard work, blood, sweat, and tears to get to where they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think anyone can be artists if they put in the same amount of effort.
Mm. Yeah, true. Because continuous work will definitely bring them to a certain height.
Yes.
So especially those really persevere artists who really like passionate about what they are doing. So definitely they will reach a certain height in terms of even in the art world and also social media world.
Yeah.
Yep. Because we also see a few like comics which doing in the theme of COVID and also the lockdown. So they also gain a lot of attention
Yeah, they do.
when they are doing this topic. So that also helps a lot.
It's comforting because there is a sign of humanity in it. And yeah, people want that.
All right. So one personal questions to you.
Oh,
Any like you have any like favorite artists in your mind or you want to share with us?
well, mm, quite a few actually, but I guess one of the more memorable ones that I have is I think I'm gonna butcher his name because it's a Korean artist, and I am gonna try to pronounce it properly, but it's Choi Yu Ram. I'm sorry.
Yuram.
But basically, he is a kinetic artist. He is an engineer, and if you actually go and look for him, okay, his name is CHOE, the letter U, and then RAM. If you look for his works are all kinetic art. They are all sculptures and installations. I think the fact that these artworks move already draws in the crowd, and the ideas behind his works are even more mesmerizing. So if you do have the time, go and look him up. He talks more. His ideas touch more on like social political issues of where he stays, where of his country, and of the places he visits. And even if you don't want to go into the depths of all these things, sure, just look at it. They move. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I do remember it. Music plus the kinetic arts is very interesting.
Yeah.
It's a good combination.
Received by many people, regardless of your background.
All right, I will look it up just in a moment. Okay, so another reminder to our audience, 11 audience here. So do you have any questions? Feel free to drop your questions. And we are, or else we are ending our talk show very soon.
Either way, it will be up. It's all record.
Yeah, it's already recorded. So you can always find the record here and also on our YouTube channel. Yeah. So do remember to follow GoDoodle as well, and also Trigger Hearth. Is it Art Hero has a page as well, or only Trigger Hearth?
All under Trigger Hearth, but we have the website, so everything is parked under triggerhearth.com. Art Herald magazine is /Art Herald magazine.
All right. So for Trigger Hearth, do visit their website and have a look. So find some stories that you can like read up and also understand more about different artists from different parts of the world. Right. So I think that's about it for the night. So thank you again to Mr. Ryan and also to all the audience who are still here. So have a good night and see you next Monday. Right. See you guys. Thank you. Bye.